it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. And we're zooming in and focusing in on a very important topic. And that is really, how do you handle trigger events, or really what is boundary violation? You need to understand that if you are used to or surrounded by people who are narcissistic, who are psychopathic, people who are just downright disrespectful and have been habituated in a pattern of relating to you in terms of one of scapegoating, projecting, basically keeping a trauma bond, keeping you disempowered, fearful, intimidated, it's very important for you to understand and become aware of and sensitive to this dynamic and heal it for good once and for all, so that you're not reignited, re-triggered by these types of relationships, especially if they are familial in origin, where you perhaps have a family where you have been surrounded by these types of abusers. People who treat you like a doormat. It's important for you to communicate that you will not be treated like a doormat. You will not be walked over. To be walked over basically is one of boundary violation. And boundary violation is something for you to become aware of, really not only in the present, but for future to come. If you keep in mind the very simple concept that you want to become aware of boundaries and standards, you will find that when you are in periods of sadness, depression, tearful, feeling rejected by the crew, the clan at work, your family, the posse, the gang, whatever it is, this group that you want to kind of understand, and you feel ostracized or isolated or not included, like you're just a tag-along, it is to understand really that chances are, when you're honoring your feelings and you really think about it, you are not meant to stay in this abuse cycle. You're not meant to be the same old, same old. Your life is not calling you to move forward in the status quo. In other words, you're not to continue this type of relating to others. You are not meant to create this same mood, which repeated over time becomes a temperament, which becomes a personality characteristic, ultimately which becomes your identity, your I am. Your I am is formulated and designed over years of experience. And so if you have years of experience of being violated, abused, yelled at, criticized, used, played for a fool, played for a fiddle, and just sort of taken advantage of, been treated as a doormat. These people are treating you as if you are some sort of, 2-foot tall imbecile. It is not you that is the crazy making. It is these people have habituated and are keeping you in that projective lens, which is seeing you and keeping you in this bad light. So if you're used to being violated and you've developed perhaps even a post-traumatic stress syndrome, a trauma bond, a fearful state, which all of a sudden launches when you least expect it, it is to understand that you are, reigniting a certain area of your brain which gets this, is basically lighting up this area of your neurochemical release, that whole neural network, which is meant to be overridden by you. You are the master helm. You can take control over this triggering event. It's to become aware of it, and is to realize that these individuals will keep treating you as the same old, same old. Life will treat you as the same old, same old if you continue in that negative, orderly direction pattern of thinking, behaving, and feeling. And this is at the subconscious level. So in other words, if you find yourself resorting back to this feeling state, this experiential state of being, disempowered, deep, and feeling that life is not exciting, life doesn't hold meaning, that you're triggered by these people, they're coming at you with the same demands. And hitherto, you were not used to putting them in their place. You were not used to having the tools as a resource, as a disposal for how to create the boundaries and standards and liberate yourself from this old pattern of relating, releasing yourself from that old pattern of experiencing something. So really, when you're coming up against either a hover situation, a trigger situation, this person is calling you or relating to you once again with the same habitual pattern. You need to do this. I need help here. And they're just, or abusing you, do this, do that. They're coming at you with these demands or this abuse, the same way of relating. And even if you're physically present, you need to communicate in 5 to 15 words. I am going over here. I am going by my daughter. I am going by my son. I am going by my phone. I am going by my car. I am going by my house. I'm going by the TV. You just make a statement and you walk away. You don't need to explain yourself, justify, feel like you're being rude. You are exiting the chaos. You're exiting whatever it is that they're trying to befuddle you with. Whatever it is, the put down. Even though, and the problem with why people can't recognize and really sort of make this pronouncement, A, because they're not aware of it, but B, I feel one of the problems, the real problems with those individuals who have stayed in abusive situations for too long, they've tolerated abuse for years and years and decades, and they've always been shut down, they've always been silenced, it's because they have been overly impressed by this person. Overly impressed. They have bought into the design, the guise, the facade that this person is more important, more talented, more the alpha male, more the alpha woman. They are the one with the money, the wittiness, the sheer numbers. The whole family is on this side, the whole clan is on this side, the whole crew. This is what it's all about. I must fit in. And the answer is no. You unequivocally, without a doubt, do not need to fit into that group. The abusive dysfunction, families, work organizations, communities, apartments, neighborhoods, blocks, families will perpetuate a dysfunction. Governments, etc., on a microcosm scale, will continue in dysfunction. Whether it's store or retail chains, whether it is whole governments, whether it is whatever situation that you find that is really sort of turning people in and spitting people out, being abusive, taking advantage of them. There's Ponzi schemes. There's all sorts of situations where you can become deluded that you are impressed by this person, this situation, and that you are a nobody without them. You don't fit in unless you acquiesce, unless you bow down. You are buying into the lie. Do not be impressed. So you have to really take a look at how you have then hitherto, really been explaining things in your own subconscious mind. This is what we call your belief system, which can be BS. Your belief system can be bogus stuff, okay, for a, familial rating here. So you have to analyze and really take a look at it and say, wow, I bought into this pathological scheme. I bought into their projection of me that I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not giving into them. You're drawing a boundary and a standard. And so people hitherto oftentimes have been in a weakened or vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable state. So they can't make a determination. Your determination, your self-communication has to proceed and come before your ability to communicate. So that is the life work. That is the work. That is the journey. And this is something that you can tap into and you will come back to again and again and again and again. That's why it's so valuable for you to understand that these lessons are have been here through millennial. This is transcending generations. This is transcending geographies. This is transcending periods of time. This is unequivocally important information. This is, what do you call it, esoteric, tip of your tongue, inalienable rights. You need to become aware of this. Well, peace and harmony, I need to become awakened. You need to become aware of this. And it is to understand that the internal dialogue, the awareness of how you are discrediting yourself or befuddling yourself by these sort of pushover bully people, whether you want to label them a narcissist, a covert narcissist, and unequivocally the psychopath who will do you in, who will run you into the ground psychologically, spiritually, financially, physically. That is how they break people down. And then you become too broken down to be able to stand up, to be able to put two words together to say, I am done. So you need to be able to have and reclaim and take ownership back of your I am and make it even stronger, even sharper, even more razor sharp, even more brilliant, almost like a shaft of light that is yours and yours alone. You have that shaft of light. You have that divine connection. You need to call it forth. You need to give it a feeling. You need to give it a presence. You need to come to presence within yourself in order to be able to protect it. So you need to reclaim that presence. And oftentimes it is things like the privacy of these videos. It is like going to a church. It is going into surrendering to and becoming aware of and embracing this essence of your being that is profoundly intelligent, profoundly connected, profoundly resilient, profoundly clear, that will, if once you give to it, once you embrace it, once you acknowledge it in your daily doings, and this is not a once a week on a Sunday where you go, yeah, big G, I bow down to you. It is on a daily and repeated awareness where you call that into being, and then you're able to articulate within yourself on a personal level your I am. You're able to become and get engaged with this internal valuation where you put the value in yourself. Their heads can be hung in silence. Their heads can be bowed. You need to be able to take power over these triggering situations, and unequivocally you can. And the tools are understanding when it's about, when that sort of lion of triggering comes at you, that jaguar-like response, when they're giving you, the rub, whatever it is, they're giving you the look, they're giving you, the body language, they're giving you the pattern, they're going back into their habituation. You unequivocally can break their cycle and change the way that they relate to you. You need to be able to unequivocally, if you're engaged with them physically, you need to be able to speak in 5 to 10 words, I am going over here, and then just leave. I don't care if it's mid-sentence, do a pattern interrupt. A pattern interrupt will shift the energy, and your internal dialogue must be strong enough for you to engage in this. Whether it's in the workplace, whether it's a family reunion, whether it's bar mitzvah, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a funeral, a vacation, wherever it is, you must claim your ground, and you must be able to confront these fears. You must be able to have them hang their heads in shame or mercy when you make this internal dialogue. You know the truth. You know what is up. You're not buying into the slander. You're not buying into the lies. You're not buying into the gaslighting. You're not buying into the brainwashing. You're not buying into the ruminating thoughts. You're not having anything to do with that anymore. Life is too short. Life is too precious. You are too precious. You are too important to waste your time, your energy through ruminating through these guttural, self-doubting and triggering emotions. You need to be able to put an end to it. And yes, unequivocally you can. It is understanding that you have boundaries and standards, and not to feel bad by getting a realistic view of things. I find that most people who have tolerated or put up with years and years of abuse, they've been waffled over, walked on. I might as well be a doormat. I might as well hang a doormat over my neck and have walk over me written on my forehead if you are the type of person who has become sensitive to and then wants to view the world to see the good in all. So unequivocally, if you're a person of big heart, you are non-judgmental at your core. You love everybody. You give everybody a chance. They've done this, well, perhaps, you're always giving them the benefit of the doubt, but you will find unequivocally you do not give yourself the same. It is a double standards. You always put other people off the hook, but you leave yourself on the hook. I am the crazy one. I'm the one who is stupid. I'm the one who doesn't fit in. I am the square peg in the round hole. The problem is with me. Problem. In other words, you have now taken on their projection. You've now taken on their gaslighting. You've now taken on their brainwashing. You're using them as a mirror for your being rather than creating and possessing your own. And the people of big hearts are the ones who will be able to give and give and give and over-obligate themselves to these wounding people. Wounded people wound, healing people heal. So oftentimes healing energy people, big heart people, are then attracted to a perfect fit with the wounders, because the wounded continue to wound, and you try to always feel their, you're always the one to try to placate and heal their wounds and give to them and make them food and buy them clothes and pay their telephone bill, pay their car note, pay their parking tickets, pay their whatever, and then you are always there, in the fixing it up situation. And these are the people then who unequivocally, their phone is blowing up and you find that they have been cheating on you, they're literally cheated on, etc. So it is because you have the big heart that oftentimes is the cause of always wanting to see the good in people. You're always wanting to see the world through rose-colored glasses. And I'm not saying lose the rose color. What I'm stating is you have to unequivocally see and acknowledge that there are bad seeds, bad, bitter seeds in the bunch, even though you want to look upon them and with goodness, you know what's up. You know unequivocally that you have this guttural feeling and you must adhere to it. You must pay attention. That fear, there's something wrong here. I can't quite tell it is, but I am picking up something loud and clear on my radar like a radio antenna. I am picking up something here. There's something awry. And so you must unequivocally pay attention to that. But if you've been in a relationship or habituated or in your life, you have discounted this or said, I'm just fearful, I am just meek, there's something wrong with me. You actually have an intuition. You actually have a sixth and seventh sense beyond your senses, which is telling you, like a GPS, like an emotional GPS, don't take that route. And you're like, well, guess what? It could be very scenic. I'm going to go down there. It's off limits. It's dangerous. It's high risk. This person's telling me to do this. This is where the gang is leading. This is like where my gravitas is coming from. And that's a very important word, because gravitas, you are literally like in physics, a large mass will draw to it other bodies. So just like the moon is held in a gravitational field because of the weight of the earth, that is the law of gravity. And it's like these people can have a sort of gravity pull, especially the psychopath, these individuals who electrically, within their physiology that they ooze out and emanate out from their aura, unequivocally, these people have a different electric magnetic field around them. Whether this has been tested or not, people, we were talking in our previous video about dowsing rods, if there's, I know that there are, especially Dr. David Hawken did muscle testing, another very interesting topic to research. There is also Dr. Joe Dispenza, who talks about testing the energy in the room, whether it's positive and elevated. Unequivocally, a psychopath, because of their neurology and the way that their neurochemicals are wired and fired, they unequivocally give off a different energy. And unequivocally, it has a gravitas to it. And I'm going to look up the word here very quickly, because this is what pulls people in and gets people triggered. Bear with me one moment. And it is this which you must regain. It is a dignity, a seriousness, or solemnity of manner. So that is what you need to restore to yourself. This has really taken me years of study. This is not, just, off the cuff. I have been studying this for decades, all this various sundry information here to give you the tools and a handle on things. And your dignity is what you must restore. It's a state or quality of being worthy or honor of respect. A sense of self-pride in yourself and self-respect. A high or honorable rank of position. You must regain this experience for yourself, unequivocally in the privacy of your own heart. So if you're a person of big heart, you must maintain and get back your gravitas, a feeling of seriousness, a dignity, a seriousness, or solemnity of manner. And solemnity is another great word. It means a state or quality of being serious and dignified, a formal, dignified rite or ceremony. So it is to get back a sense of, I am real, okay? I am authentic. I am genuine. I am powerful. I am magnificent. I am connected to the Creator. You need to have these aha moments and really have this dawning of your valuation of self, because then you'll be able to create and manifest and magnify all the good in your life, and you'll be able to have enough gravitas about you that this other sort of triggering stuff will no longer impair your emotional GPS, your 6th and 7th sense, your intuition. I'm too afraid I'm going to be rude. I'm so afraid I'm going to offend somebody. Somebody might be talking about me. This might seem odd if I walk away. This might seem odd if I don't go. I'm not going to show up at the drinking event. I'm not going to show up at the wedding. I'm not going to show up at this funeral. I'm not going to, show up at this holiday event. And I might be perceived as da 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 da. Who cares? It does not matter. Who cares what they think? Who cares what you might look like? Who cares about what is my great colleague, who is a wonderful social worker, who said, it's like water cooler talk. Who wants to spend time getting triggered, talking about negative blah blah at the water cooler? All that does is bring your energy down. All it does is absorb more negativity into your energy field that brings your awareness, your consciousness down. It dulls you. It clouds your thinking. It lowers your standard. It violates your boundaries. You become what everybody else is thinking. You unequivocally are not required to become what everybody else is thinking. You think for yourself. You unequivocally are able to say no, thank you, and walk away. No, thank you. You don't need to get into a spat. You don't need to tell them how awful they are. You don't need to, I'm so sorry, I'm this, I'm that. That you don't need to stoop your head in shame. Unequivocally, you need to make that pronouncement and that declaration. I am powerful. I am magnificent. I am deserving. I am dignified. I am loyal to my dignity. I am in touch with my higher esteem. I am in touch with my higher consciousness, and my internal guiding system, my emotional guiding system, I am now tuning into and listening to, and I'm allowing it to direct me to my ultimate peace and harmony, where I'm now developing and manifesting and connecting with what I truly love. Who cares if other people think this is odd, strange? Who cares if other people, don't like my garden? Who cares if other people don't like my art? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? It is the enrichment and the experience that I have that is giving to me. I am able to make those proclamations. I'm able to make these assertions. I am able to manifest and remain in my dignity no matter what I come up against. You need to be able to honor and get into and enhance these positive, really profound dignity states, and be able to walk away, being able to get your feet going into the order of positive, orderly direction thinking around then the people who actually fill you and nourish you. The thought patterns, the verbal patterns that now come out, which are different from you, which surround you with different people, which take you to new levels, which helps you to get the job, to get the relationship, to get the skills, to get the experience through repetition and experience, to give you the personal serenity, to give you the experience, to give you the bliss, to do the things that are energizing to you, to go out and be like the pioneer in the frontier when everyone else is laughing, and then you find that you are actually standing on top of your own mountain, and really you are able to shake them off your back like just a fluttering of your own wings. You're just able to shake it off, and you see what you were succumbing to but are no longer succumbing to. It is the declaration, the boundaries, the standards, which are so crucial. Peace and harmony. I hope these videos do help. Please share,